the moment the world is really coming to terms with the Black Lives Matters movement everywhere, even everywhere around where I am, people are protesting, signs are seen. I wonder, first of all, if you could give a kind of Sufi perspective on Black Lives Matters, and also, is the sanctuary itself, has it been able to take a position on this?
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, we 100% support Black Lives Matter. It started in 2013 as a hashtag sort of movement. Now it's become like a social movement. It's decentralized. It's all over the country. But we have big ones like in Los Angeles, in Washington, D.C. But they have many demands. But two main demands are, police reform and reform of the criminal justice and awareness of the oppression and the discrimination that African Americans are facing. So a Sufi perspective, I would say, is this. Iain, not long ago, I was on a program on racism, and an African American professor was saying, did you know that this is the official statistic, that every 28 hours, an African American is being killed by state-sponsored violence? We were quite aghast. But he says, that's not the real problem. We said, what's the real problem? He said, the real problem is the African American is being murdered 1 billion, with a B, B for boy, 1 billion times a day. We said, how? He said, by those biases, prejudices, stereotyping of the other we have. They're violent people, they're drain on the economy. This is what is really killing the African American. So the point here is, of course, legislation is critical. Education is critical. But maybe even more critical, Iain, is this work of how can I overcome my biases, my prejudices, my stereotyping? Because without that, there will not be a structural change, a change at the core level. So for me, as a Muslim, as a Sufi, that is the work we are really aspiring to do as we continue the work of fighting for legislation and education.
And of course, that's exactly what you're doing at the sanctuary. You're trying to break down those walls and bring people together.
Yes. And no, you said bring people together. That's another key work we do in the work of interfaith. We say it doesn't matter what your religion is, what your belief is. It doesn't have to be even religion, can be politics, can be culture, can be race. Can we share 3 cups of tea? That's our favorite idiom. Listen, respect, connect. So let's, main problem we feel is we don't listen to the other. An enemy is someone whose story I have not listened to. So we have all kinds of programs of listening. So we have these events where we share and talk to each other about what does it mean to listen. You see, metaphorically, Rumi says, listening is like putting your head on the person's chest and just sinking into the answer. So yes, listening is critical. The other one is listen, respect. Can I make a differentiation between behavior and being? The person's behavior might be terrible. I'm against the person's behavior, but the person's being is Christ nature, Buddha nature, Allah nature, Elohim nature. So as I take the right action, don't allow yourself to be abused. Protect yourself. Take the right action. But as you take the right action, can you make a differentiation between behavior and being? And just that discernment can shift heaven and earth. And the last one is connect. You don't have to talk about politics. You don't have to talk about theology, but can you connect on a human level? Our joys, our sorrows, families. The wonderful saying, this universe is made out of stories, not atoms. So listen, respect, connect. We want to practice that, share that as much as possible.
That is wonderful. And obviously Eid al-Adha is coming up very soon.
Yes.
Working. It'll be a challenge, I would imagine, for people as they come to during lockdown. I don't know what the situation is now in Seattle. How do people how do people cope? Do you have advice for people during this time? It must be very tempting for families to want to gather at this time, but
and some people insist on gathering. They say that you can just believe in Allah, trust in Allah. So there's a wonderful, the Quran does say, have faith in Allah, Allah is sufficient for you. But there's a very famous story of a Bedouin in the 7th century Arabia going to the mosque, and he asked the Prophet Muhammad, should I tie my camel to the post or just trust in Allah? Prophet Muhammad said, first, tie your camel to the post, then trust in Allah. So that's a very important story for Muslims, you see.
Absolutely.
You've got to do the work. You got to, here, Eid al-Azha, keep yourself safe. Don't harm others. So do it via cyberspace. And now there are prayers via cyberspace. We have, in our sanctuary, you have Friday prayers, all via Zoom. And people are connecting very beautifully. So Eid means festival. And so it's a festival time. You can enjoy festivity, like I'm connecting with you via cyberspace. Or if you go and meet people, practice social distancing. In Islam, in the Quran, the most used word is Allah. Allah, 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 Allah. But the second most used word is ilm, I-L-M, meaning awareness, knowledge. I tell Muslims that it's in the Quran. Use your knowledge to do what is right.
That is beautiful. And I think a lot of what your work, to me, strikes is doing what is right for the betterment of communities and from the humankind, really. As you got a final message just to share with viewers, please, Rahman.
Two things. One is we always say that interfaith is not just about hospitality. It's really a matter of our survival. And I've said this earlier, but we really emphasize that it really is a matter of our survival. Second thing is really we have to do the inner inconvenient work, no matter what the issues are. Opening up our hearts, transforming our ego. We just cannot escape that. It's something we want to deny, avoid. I'll get big degrees to teach you how to do that, but I won't do it myself. The third thing is we simply have to do this work of meeting people outside our tribe and share 3 cups of tea. So that's something we aspire to do, to meet homeless people. As Muslims, I request them to meet gay people, somebody outside their faith who's an extremist. So those 3 things are very, very critical, particularly, becoming a better human being and reaching out to the other. So I will just summarize it by saying those words of Rumi: please come out of the circle of time and enter the circle of love, whatever that means to you. But can we practice?
That is wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. It was so much fun and joy to connect with you. I hope our association will lead to some collaboration.
Absolutely. I would love us to do some things together. That would be wonderful.